How are you guys doing? Good? We've had transition. We have Michael Sippey, the vice president of product, the head of product of Twitter, joining us now. So we're going to talk Twitter now. And by the way, we're #1 Twitter trend. In France, at least, that's what I see on my screen. But that's pretty cool. Thanks for all your tweets. Michael?
All right, great.
Welcome, Michael.
Thanks, Loic. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm really glad to have you.
First time.
Yes, coming all the way from San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a long flight. It's good. Boy, are my arms tired.
Enjoying Paris?
You gotta love that. Yeah, I haven't been here. I haven't been to Paris since 1996.
Yeah.
I was here for my honeymoon with my wife, and I haven't been back since. So, always fond memories of Paris. So
you know, this is
it's colder here than the last time I was here.
This is why we managed to make LeWeb a success. Is that there is all of us friends who want to, do honeymoon and get engaged, and I like Paris for that.
Yeah,
so
it's an amazing city.
How long have you been the head of product at Twitter?
So I joined Twitter. It'll be 2 years in February. I joined the company initially to work on our developer platform. And the first feature that I launched with an amazing team was Twitter cards. And then Dick asked me to step up and help with the broader consumer product efforts sometime in the summer of 2012. Is that right? Yeah, late spring, early summer 2012.
And so
it's been a great year.
What is Twitter?
Twitter is a global communication service that helps everyone around the world connect with anyone and share what's happening with them in real time, live as it's happening. And it allows people to discover what's going on with things that they care about.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So obviously the big shift recently has been mobile, and I'm
Huge.
Looking at the Twitter app as I talk to Michael, because he's been working on that, right? So what has been the change? Because Twitter was really a web service, right?
Yeah, well, the service has its roots in mobile. When Jack and Biz and Ev started the company and created the product in 2007, it really had its roots in text messaging. So the 140-character limit comes from SMS, which has a 160-character limit. They reserve 20 characters for control for usernames and things like that. And it really started as a way for people to share what they were doing in real time from their phones. The service obviously expanded to include Twitter.com and the web property, but we were very early in the app stores on both iOS and Android because we saw the kind of capabilities of those devices. And what we've done over the past year or so is really, really invest fully in Twitter as a mobile product and a mobile platform. And it's been really exciting for us as a team to make that shift and to really go where our users are going, which is to the mobile device.
But so tell me about your mobile app, because there's a lot of new things here that I keep noticing.
It's been an exciting year.
Yeah,
it's been an exciting year.
And it's a lot of changes that you don't feel as a user, and then you discover them as you use it. So what's new? What have you been doing?
Yeah, here's some things that we've been doing this year. So earlier this year, we did kind of the first big change to the home timeline experience in a long time, which is we made it easier for people to follow conversations in their home timeline. So we actually connect them with a line now. So if I tweet and you reply, those will actually show in your timeline right next to each other. So it's easier for people when they load up their timeline to follow the conversations between individuals that they follow. We've also recently introduced photos and video previews into the main timeline. So as you're scrolling your timeline on mobile, you actually will see photo previews and video previews from Vine directly inside your timeline.
From Instagram too?
Not from Instagram, no.
Why not?
You'll have to ask them. Yeah.
So I heard, yes.
Yeah, you'll have to ask them about that.
But you would put them, obviously.
We're focused on building great tools ourselves for people to share content on Twitter and for it to be a fantastic tool for expression. And so we've invested really heavily this past year in features and tools for people to share photos, and obviously with Vine for people to share short videos as well.
But if I have a YouTube video, it will also show up as a preview, for example?
YouTube today will show as a link inside your timeline, and if you tap into a tweet, into the tweet detail screen, you'll see a simple preview of that, and you can tap that to open it, either in the YouTube player if you have that installed, or inside a mobile web view.
So your job is mobile. I mean, it's product, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How do you... Both.
It's mobile product, yeah.
Mobile product.
Both.
How do you... Tell me how you approach this. Like
sure.
You have, how do you work? You have you do A/B testing all the time.
All the time. So here's what we've done over the past year or so, and I have a great set of engineering counterparts and design counterparts that I work with on a daily basis, and an amazing team of product managers. And what we do is we've taken mobile development and essentially distributed it throughout the company. So we have a series of feature teams that work on different parts of Twitter, different parts of the application, and they each have iOS development skills and Android development skills. And so a team that, say, is working on photos, for instance, they're responsible for the photo experience on twitter.com, on Twitter for iPhone, Twitter for Android, and they have responsibility to ship a great experience across all of those platforms and make it work well there. So we do that across many, many features, and we have teams that have those development skills in those teams. And then we do essentially data-informed product development. We built an experimentation framework into Twitter for iPhone and Twitter for Android, so we can run A/B tests, 1% experiments, et cetera.
So the app I have here is not the same as the app.
It may not be the same as someone else. It depends on, you may be in the control, which is the majority of users, or you may be in one or multiple test buckets where we are constantly evaluating different feature approaches, different UI approaches, in order to understand the impact that those changes will have on users.
And how do you, so what do you see? You see how many times people press something? What do you measure?
So we measure how people engage with the feature directly, and we measure the impact that it has on them as a user overall and how they engage with the product. And I call it data informed for a reason, which is we have strong hypotheses around, as product managers and designers and engineers, around how we want to make the product better and how we want the experience that we want users to have. And then we design those features, we roll them to users, and we look at what the impact of that is on the user base before we make a decision about whether to ship that. And we'll use that data to inform the decision. Not necessarily to drive it every single time, but essentially to inform it, and so that we are going into change knowing what it will potentially do for users and what we'll do for the product.
Why is Vine a separate app and not the main Twitter app?
So I'll tell you.
That's your product, right?
Of course, yeah. So Vine is, for folks that don't know, Vine is a mobile application available on iOS and Android that allows you to share and watch looping 6-second videos that are just amazing.
6 seconds?
6 seconds. 6 seconds. So I'll tell you the story about Vine.
Yes, please,
we met the team. It was about a year ago, actually. We met the founding team, classic kind of trio of a product guy, a designer, and an engineer who had an incredible concept.
I was just talking about this morning.
Yeah.
It's new that this classic trio you're talking about, I just posted the Vine, by the way, it's that there is a designer now.
Right. You have to have a designer.
Yeah,
you have to have a designer. I mean, you have to create great experiences for users, right? And that's and bringing design thinking early on in the process of when you're doing product development is incredibly important.
But sorry, talk
So we met this team, really great team. 3 of them worked very, very well together, and they had this incredible concept for the application, and we actually saw it in its kind of early alpha stage. And the thing that we loved about Vine is that it's very similar to Twitter conceptually, right? So it's constrained content. So Twitter has 140 characters, Vine has 6 seconds. It rewards creativity. So like anybody can write 140 characters, anyone can shoot a 6-second video. But the way that they built their tools for creating and sharing video made it amazing for people to get creative with it. So they brought, for the first time, to mobile video sharing, the cut, which is a fundamental unit of filmmaking, and they made that an incredibly simple thing for people to do. It was the first video app that anyone had ever seen that didn't have a record button, and it didn't have a play button.
Was that the first one?
First one. Videos don't play. There's no record
exactly
button.
like that right now.
Videos don't play. Like they just play automatically, and there was no record button. You just tap.
You hold, right?
You just hold, tap and hold, and when you release, it stops recording. So
that was the first one because everybody seems to be doing
Everyone's taking that mechanic, which is great. Like we love that there's like this incredible mechanic because it's easy it just makes it like simple for users around the world to share video. Like that's an incredible thing. So we fell in love with the team. It was very complementary to Twitter, and so we asked them to join the company. And what we did is we gave them a whole bunch of autonomy and independence. They operate out of a separate office in New York City. And we said, we'd love for you to use sign in with Twitter, but that shouldn't be the only thing. Like we should, grow this as big as it can get. And it's done very, very well.
Why not a photo app then, separate photo app, like your own Instagram?
Yeah, so the first thing that we needed to do, there is make sure that you can share and consume photos within Twitter. Photos have always been this incredible part of the Twitter experience, whether, from way back before Twitter even hosted photos. When the plane went down in the Hudson River, the first photo that was on the scene was shared on Twitter. And so when Twitter invested in hosting its own photo service, and this is before my time, it was a big step forward, and we decided let's actually invest in making it very, very simple for people to share photos directly from within Twitter.
How do you see competition? Because, well, let's talk about one. Let's talk about Snapchat, if you want. Like, first, the fact that there is, how do you call it? Like disappearing content, temporary content?
Yeah, or ephemeral.
Ephemeral.
Isn't that great? That's a fancy word.
No, it's great.
Yeah,
I like it.
I was an English major, so I have to bring in the fancy words.
I was not an English major. How do you see that? Do you think it's a trend that we'll all be using ephemeral content?
I think that they've tapped into something really interesting, which is it allows people to share themselves in the moment and without kind of fear of repercussion, without caring. And it's basically using photos as communication. And like photos are an incredible way to communicate. And video too, yeah. But photos and video is a way to communicate.
Like Vine, you press.
Yeah, press and hold. They have a button though. We don't have a button. They have
a
button.
You have no button. I can press anywhere.
You just press anywhere on the screen. I know. Big button. It's like the whole screen. So we see like they've tapped into something with photos as communication. Just like the thing is like people have been using photos to communicate for a long time, whether it's that's basically the history of photography, but also through, photo attachments in email, MMS, tweets with photos. Like, there's a lot of ways that people use photos to communicate. And so we're looking at how do we actually solve users' problems. And like they want to communicate and share photos and share media in really interesting and compelling ways.
So you're building a Snapchat competitor?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, it's
I didn't
French.
say that. Yeah, it's your French, right? Exactly. It's your English, actually.
Yes. My English is horrible. I know.
That's terrible.
You're not.
What's that?
You're not.
No, we're not doing a Snap.
Because you could do temporary. Why not? Temporary
Here's the thing that. Yeah, we could.
How about this?
Here's the thing.
How about a service?
Give me some ideas. It's good.
Yes, yeah. I'd love to.
You're an idea guy.
I don't know. But you post a tweet and it disappears.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You can see it for the next whatever.
Right. See it for a limited amount of time and then it disappears.
10 minutes.
Would you use that?
I don't know. I don't use Snapchat, but my kids do a lot.
Yeah.
And they send me things they would never send me.
Post publicly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They send my. I have an 18 in college, and he's sending me things which is disturbing that he would never put on Twitter.
Right.
By the way, they don't use Twitter that much.
Your kids don't.
Yeah, I think is there an age problem? Or?
No. So we actually see like incredible use amongst all sorts of different like age buckets, but we see in high school and college like really incredible use of Twitter. People that use it to essentially talk with each other in real time about what's happening at their school, in their lives, and it becomes essentially like public conversation around what's happening with their social group, and lots of people talking amongst themselves.
How about Facebook? So it seems to me that Facebook understood that they had a threat, and Chris is going to be here tomorrow, but coming from Instagram, and they were very smart to buy it so fast at a price that everybody thought was crazy, $1 billion at the time. And now everybody thinks it was a great move.
It was a great move, right?
You think it was a great move for it?
I thought it was, I thought it was a smart move for them.
And so how do you see Facebook versus Twitter? Because here's how I feel a little bit. I feel that they are one by one, getting what made Twitter a success. So they had no feed, if you remember. No one remembers that, right? But
yeah,
Facebook had no feed.
Right. It was all profiles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just a. And by the way, if you read, have you read the Twitter book from Nick Bilton? You have, obviously.
I've read the book.
So that I highly recommend it. Forgot the name of the book, but
Hatching Twitter.
Hatching Twitter. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But if you, exactly. If you read it, you see that he talks about that meeting between. So when Zuckerberg tried to reportedly to acquire Twitter, and that he explains that Facebook is totally different. Right? It's only profiles. Yeah. Well, Twitter is a feed, and people spend time in the feed. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Here's I wasn't there. I wasn't at the company at the time, so I can't comment on what happened there. Yeah. But here's what we focus on.
But they took the feed, right?
So there are things that are but there are things that what our users tell us that they love about Twitter and what we love about Twitter is that it's really the only platform at scale that is focused on public content, that is live, that is conversational, and that can be distributed everywhere. So you see tweets on television, you see tweets embedded in news sites, you see tweets, I use the ESPN app, and they have basically a live stream of what ESPN is talking about, and it's all tweets.
No, and to follow what's happening on LeWeb, I cannot do that on Facebook.
Exactly, and so that's where Twitter is best and where it shines for our users, and we're focused on making sure that we can have a product that serves that incredibly well. And it means that we've done a lot of work over the past year to improve real-time search, to make content easier to discover, and a lot of work on integration with television, both on the partner side of, like here in France, working with France Television and Canal Plus and TF1, of essentially getting out having content on air that is related to what people can see on Twitter, and then building great integrations on Twitter of live content, so that when people are watching live events and participating in live events, they reach for Twitter.
Like this.
Like this. You're trending on Twitter today in France.
Yeah, and do you curate? So I saw if you search LeWeb, you have a LeWeb account. Mm-hmm. Good guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a bunch of other accounts like mine,
like you, which is good.
So is it you featuring that? Like, yeah, Loic is cool. I'm going to
Yeah, it's all algorithmic. It's all algorithmic.
You don't have an editorial team.
So we know that we have an amazing search and content team that focuses on great search experiences to return tweets and return accounts based on things that individuals are searching for or things that are trending. And we know that you have, like the system knows, that you essentially have high relevance and ranking around the term LeWeb, as does Geraldine. And so it will return those accounts.
Yeah.
No, there's no editorial there.
So, and so coming back to Facebook, they have the feed. So what don't they search sucks. I'm saying
you'll have to ask, but you can talk to him about that tomorrow.
But like if you search LeWeb on Facebook, you cannot get, and all the posts on Facebook, many posts are public now. Right. Like they grab that from you too.
Well, so it's like what I'm focused on is like Facebook has their product, and I'm focused on Twitter, which is like we know what our users want to do, and we ask them all the time, and we hear from them. And so we want to just build a great experience for users, around live events, around television, around talking about what's happening in the world, and discovering what matters to them. So that's what we're focused on.
Do you have any idea on where social is going? So the theme is the next 10 years. I know that's a long way. There was no social 10 years ago.
It says, there's a sign up there that says LeWeb 10 years. And
there was no social.
Congratulations on 10 years, by the way. That's incredible. So Loic and I used to work together too. That's the other thing. I don't know if anybody knows, but we go back
in a blogging company.
We go back in a blogging a long time ago. But if you think about the last,
created the like button, right? What did we call it?
This is good. Remember?
This is good.
Remember that?
It was the Facebook like.
This is good. So
anyway, we sound like old people.
We are old people.
Yes, that too.
Yes. I'm probably older than you.
Fortunately, we have Nick Deloiseau next.
I know that's like terrifying. But if you think back. So what happened in the last 10 or so? I joined Six Apart in 2004. Like we were all blogging back then. If you think about what's happened in the last 10 years,
incredible.
There's been this massive shift to mobile, to application ecosystems, and cloud, and essentially enabling innovation from small teams of people that can do incredible things. And I think that those trends just continue. The devices that we carry will become more powerful. They'll become more connected. They'll have greater capabilities to share context of the user and media in real time. And that just means a more connected society around the world. And I think that that's incredible for social.
Google Glass, what do you think? You have an app?
Yeah, we have an app,
cool.
which is great. I think that they have a bunch of work to do. Like, I think it's a great first experience, and I think that a lot of people that'll have to figure out the kind of social dynamics of how you have heads-up display while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, it could be entirely hidden in your glass.
Right, exactly.
Like you could have a camera right there, and you wouldn't see it anymore.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's probably coming next.
Coming next.
But you think it's going to be popular? Or?
I think that look at if you look at their long-term trends, leave aside the individual product and the individual execution. The long-term trends are that processing is getting more powerful and cheaper. Devices are getting smaller. Hopefully, battery power will continue to extend. Mm-hmm. It's not on the same kind of Moore's Law track. Bandwidth capabilities will be more pervasive and cheaper and require lower power. And so devices will shrink and shrink and shrink, whether it's on your wrist, whether it's on your face, whether it's in your pocket, whether it's on your belt, whatever it is, whether it's injected into your body, like those things.
Injected in your body?
Yeah, that happens to like their devices, the medical devices that will do tracking and cameras, et cetera. So that trend will continue, and so wearable will happen. It will absolutely happen. I mean, just look at all the Fitbits and all of those fitness devices.
Just
Are you wearing one yet? No, you're not wearing. But you're wearing. I mean, the thing is, like, you have wearable tech on your wrist right now, right? So we just happen to be like old people with watches.
Yeah.
Right. But I know this is amazing. This is a heads-up display for time and date, right? Just tells me.
I don't know. There is a vintage aspect of having a mechanic watch, which I like.
I like it too.
Not totally in the future.
Yeah, not totally the future.
You know, I tried the Pebble and love the founder, but
right. No, it's incredibly useful.
Right. And so, how about international expansion? You wanted to talk about that. So last year we had Katie.
Yeah, last year Katie was here. Katie heads up a lot of our international partner development media expansion efforts. And she was here and announced that we were coming to France. We've come to France. We have an office here in Paris, led by two incredible people, Olivier and Justine. And that's just enabled us to work with our partners here in France much more deeply, whether it's on the media side, on the telecom side, or on the brand side. And it means that, Twitter is just doing amazingly well in France.
Politicians are crazy about it.
Yeah, I mean,
it feels to me even more than the U.S., right?
I think. From an overall, we saw incredible usage spikes around the election. They talk amongst each other. It's amazing. I love it. And that for me is Twitter, right?
Yeah,
which is there's like public conversation between people where anybody can discover it, and there are examples of that all over the world of how people are using the platform to connect with one another. And so we just want to make that simpler and easier and more accessible for people everywhere.
Is the username going to stay at Loic versus my name?
So
at Sippey or at what?
Username, I'm at Sippey.
At Sippey.
Usernames will stay, but we want to make it easier. Like some of the things that we have heard are difficult for new users are concepts like @ handles and hashtags, and so we're constantly looking at ways that we can make that simpler for users and for them to connect with the people that they know and their interests and what they want to follow and what they want to be alerted about, and make that easier to find.
How does it look like, Twitter?
Well, in a few years.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Feels to me it doesn't change that much.
So it's funny. I love that you think it hasn't changed that much, which is great because it means that I think the teams we're doing our jobs of evolving the product and making it better and making sure that you're still connected and engaged. So if you look back a year ago, the product actually is pretty different, and we're going to continue to make changes in the product now that we've invested so heavily in mobile development and training engineers in bringing our mobile experimentation framework to light, that we can actually then evolve the product in a really rapid way.
I have to admit, sometimes I just tweet about Twitter not changing enough for me.
Yeah.
And then I end up on Twitter. So it's kind of I'm just kind of criticizing.
If you have ideas, send them. Sippey@twitter.com.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely. How did the going public changed the company. Going public, how did it change the company? You're worth $20 billion now. Not you personally. Yeah. I wish you would. I guess Evan.
It hasn't really changed the company. I'll tell you that we've been focused for a long time on building a sustainable business, on building operational excellence throughout the company, and making sure that we can execute well. I'll tell you a story. On the day that we went public, everybody was in the office by 6 a.m. because we're in San Francisco, West Coast time. The market's open at 9:30 East Coast time. Everyone was in the office, shoulder to shoulder in our space that we call the Commons, which is the big lunch area. And we watched the CNBC stream live. And folks had coffee and orange juice and donuts. And then the market opened, and it was 7:30 in the morning Pacific time. And everyone kind of looked at each other and was like, all right, back to work. And so everyone was basically at their desk, cranking away on, new stuff by 8 in the morning.
But you guys have hundreds of millionaires working, right, in the team, I guess.
Yeah, we don't, people don't think about it. I don't care. People are focused on reaching every person on the planet and delivering great experiences for our users, and that's what brings everybody in every day.
But don't you think there is a bubble these days? Like, is Twitter, okay, don't comment about your market cap, you won't, but $20 billion, really? I mean, that's a lot of money. Facebook, you can comment.
The market has, I'll just say that as always, the market invests in the future of the company, and we're building the future of the company. And that's all we're focused on, is how do we make sure that we build great experiences for our users, great experiences for our partners, to really take advantage of connecting everyone through Twitter.
You've just revealed your email address.
Yeah, feel free.
Sippey@twitter.com. You want feedback from the room?
It's not terribly private, so feel free. Yeah, Sippey@twitter.com.
So ideas and...
Yeah, and at Sippey on Twitter.
Awesome.
My preferred mode of communication.
Right.
140 characters. It's good.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to be here. I'll be around. It's lovely to be here.
If you want to talk product, but Twitter,
come find me.
Come find Mike.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.